Parliament, the sitting of the National Assembly has been postponed due to a strike by Parliament support staff. Staff affiliated to trade union Nehawu have been on strike since yesterday. Their demands include performance bonuses and consultation on the vetting of staff. Several parliamentary committees have either not taken place or have been downgraded to discussions because of the absence of support staff. Chief whips of the different political parties are discussing this matter. Our reporter Bulelani Philip is live now from Parliament to give us an update on this. Bulelani, good afternoon to you. First of all, just give us a sense of what's going on at the moment there with the strike.
Well, a good afternoon to you, Natasha, and to the viewers. Basically, as you cross to us at this hour, quite a bit of a slump and a mini break for these striking workers from Parliament. Many have taken this time to actually just go on an early lunch break after a very eventful morning here in the precinct of Parliament. But of course, just off screen, you will see that there aren't many people that are protesting. But of course, some of them, as I've said, are taking this time to just take a break because it's been quite a scorcher of a day here in Cape Town, and they've been leading protests in this precinct of Parliament for the entire morning. Of course, their strike has had an impact on some of the works and operations of Parliament. We've received some reports that, several of the committees that were due to sit this morning have had to be cancelled. Others actually had to go on, but not assuming any official position or standing in terms of the status of those committee meetings. But more importantly, Parliament was supposed to be having a plenary session in the National Assembly at 11 o'clock this morning, but we do understand that particular sitting had to be postponed because there was not necessary, staff to actually, assist with those proceedings. At the same time, the chief whips of the political parties have actually been trying to sit with the senior management of Parliament to try and see how best they can actually deal with this ongoing strike by the staff. And therefore that meeting, we understand that it's still ongoing, and they're hoping that perhaps maybe come this afternoon, perhaps there may be some indication in terms of whether there has been any agreement with regard to that. We know that sitting that was supposed to sit at 11 this morning was actually postponed to 2, but whether it's going to still go ahead this afternoon, it's anybody's guess at this stage. But as I speak to you now, the workers, as I've said, they've been taking a break, and we know that in just maybe over half an hour's time from now, they will be addressed by some of the national office bearers from Nehawu in the form of the Deputy Secretary General of Nehawu in one of the buildings inside Parliament. So at this stage, it's still a little bit, of a slump, but of course, we do expect that these workers will begin to, increase or intensify their protests come this afternoon.
All right, Bulelani, so clearly this protest is affecting Parliament's schedule. What's been heard in terms of their demands? I know they're waiting to be addressed by Nehawu, but what can we expect to come out of that?
Well, yesterday, the Secretary to Parliament, Mr. Mgengezi, actually did try to explain some of the, sticking points or the points of contention around perhaps some of the earlier agreements that have been signed with unions. And now, of course, there is different interpretations of what those earlier agreements mean or are in terms of interpretations. And therefore, those are some of the issues that perhaps would have to be discussed, with the union leaders to try and find an amicable way of, resolving these things. There have been some commitments from both sides in terms of trying to get to this solution, but neither side really wants to actually, give too much away in terms of compromising their positions. But of course, we do understand that the unions are open-minded, as well as Parliament is open-minded to come and sit on the table to discuss these particular matters. Of course, on the security front, given that, some of these protests have been dubbed, as illegal, given that, workers here in Parliament are, designated as essential services, meaning that they are prohibited from actually engaging on these protests. Parliament was actually trying to disperse them a little bit earlier to a point where there was a riot police, or what we call public order police, to try and disperse them, given that Parliament is a national key point. But of course there has been no skirmishes or any form of altercations between those police and the striking workers. The workers were actually trying to actually express their frustrations in a very peaceful and dignified manner. But of course, as I've said, Parliament has also been saying that they are willing to come to the party and actually try to resolve these matters with the workers.
Yeah. Bulelani, thank you very much. Bulelani Philip, live from Parliament.